This game is fucking nuts! The game is absurdly simple. Pick a character, pick a stage, and off you go. There's no story that I can spot, no reason I'm doing any of this. It is very difficult to stop though. You control your characters with the WASD keys or a thumbstick. That's it. No, seriously, that's all the controls. Well, okay, sometimes you have to press Enter or the X button when selecting something. One thing you do not do is press a button to attack. Another thing you don't do, switch weapons. See, contrary to every game you've ever played, weapons are deployed for you in this. You don't have to switch weapons, you don't have to fire, that they auto-fire as soon as their cooldown expires. Constantly and relentlessly. Now, because I started the game with Antonio, mainly because I didn't have a choice, that meant whipping thin air a lot of the time. Which is annoying because the whip only attacks to one horizontal side at a time. Make enough kills, drop the XP gems the enemies drop. I quickly earn enough for an upgrade. Now, not knowing what I'm doing yet, I chose the King Bible, which then proceeds to orbit me for a short time before vanishing, then reappearing again. My next choice, the Magic Wand. That shoots at the nearest enemy, which makes taking out the bats a lot easier. And around the 1 minute mark, the zombies start showing up. When you earn an upgrade, you are typically given a choice between 3 options. Some of those options are new, drawn from anything you've unlocked by playing previously. Some things, however, on the list will be copies of what you already have, causing it to level up and become more powerful. The standard stages have a time limit of 30 minutes. Survive for 30 minutes and you win. Good luck! When you pass certain times on the clock, the waves of enemies will change. Tougher enemies, more tougher enemies. But because you don't actually control combat as such, the strategy lies in where you stand and what power-ups you choose. One wrong decision can spell disaster. And it doesn't help that to start with you only have one character and a limited pool of weapon and item options. It means you're definitely going to have your ass handed to you on your first time out. In fact, you should probably just expect to die a lot, all the time. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because when you unlock stuff, you usually unlock things because you've survived a certain length of time, or progressed a certain item or weapon to a high enough level. It's not about necessarily making it to the end of the run. Though it is nice to survive for longer, isn't it? Surviving earns you cash, which can be used to buy permanent character enhancements, as well as unlocking additional characters. As you gain a familiarity with the weapons, you'll start making smarter choices when upgrading. You'll come across more items which grant additional powerful bonuses. Every so often you'll spot a larger or highlighted enemy. A boss! Or at least this game's version of a boss. They do exactly the same thing as everything else on screen though. Move slowly towards you. Kill one of these bosses though and they'll drop a chest. Chests contain a random upgrade for one of your existing power-ups. And eventually, you'll make a discovery. Evolutions. See, the magic wand shoots at nearby enemies. Eventually, with enough upgrades, it's able to shoot more projectiles and even shoot through a certain number of enemies. Then there's also an item known as the Empty Tome, which reduces the cooldown of all of your abilities. It just so happens that these two items are designed to work together, and when you have the wand at the maximum level and you possess the Empty Tome at any level, they synergize and can be upgraded to create an evolution, the Holy Wand. The Holy Wand effectively combines the traits of both items, and it causes the Magic Wand to have its cooldown timer removed entirely, effectively turning it into a magical machine gun. Now, I won't give away all the evolution combinations because part of the fun in this game is discovering them, but I've found 10 so far. And I know I haven't got them all yet. And if you know what they all are, or you know a fair few, you can pick and choose your equipment to get a hold of several at once, turning you into a whirlwind of destruction few enemies can withstand. It feels good to be on the giving end of bullet hell for a change, doesn't it? Now, in my experience, you need to be pushing around level 70 by the time you get to about the 25-minute mark. If you don't, well, the problem is that the enemies upgrade in their waves according to the timer. So if you're not earning enough XP, you're screwed. Of course, you can simply be screwed by making bad equipment decisions, picking the less than effective weapons, and then not pairing them with the matching item to trigger its evolution. Now, honestly, on the face of it, it doesn't look like there's much content here in this game, but it's such good fun blasting through literally thousands of hostiles. you won't even notice. Besides which, the real longevity of the game is in unlocking more stuff to use, and after playing normal games, where fights are more conventional and require more effort, and don't always end in your victory, being able to utterly decimate tens of thousands of enemies inside of 30 minutes is very therapeutic. You may have killed me, but at least I slaughtered 10,000 of your guys first. It's hard to call that a loss, especially since when you actually reach the 30-minute mark, you die anyway. I mean, it says you win, but it's like the forces of evil simply lose patience and press the nuclear button. At the end of a run, the game gives you a breakdown of the weapons you used, but more interestingly gives you a look at the total damage each one caused and its DPS. Levels can have relics scattered around. Each one grants certain passives, like being able to see evolutions in the menus, or the much more useful map. Yeah, the map is something you have to unlock. You can't get lost. The map simply points you towards the nearest power-ups. Walking the same direction and the same layout simply repeats itself. Walking through the library level, it's like watching a Scooby-Doo episode. There are also Arcana, powerful bonuses. I personally am particularly fond of Waltz of Pearls. That causes certain projectiles to bounce off the screen edge up to 3 times. Paired with the Cross, I found it made for a devastating team-up. The game genuinely doesn't seem to give a toss if you turn into an absolute maelstrom of devastation. In fact, it seems to actively encourage it. There's even an achievement in the menus for having 6 evolutions equipped at once. You can have 6 weapons before the game stops giving you any more new ones. Same goes for items. Although, if there are any extras lying around in the level itself, you can sneakily pick them up and add them to your loadout anyway. The whip is a weapon I hate. By the way, I still haven't found its evolution yet. Another weapon that is hilarious, Gatti Amari. I think that's how it's pronounced. Despite the impossible to remember name, it can best be described as, well, chaotic. It releases white cats and black cats which run around all over the place, randomly damaging enemies. But the black ones also damage you. And if they collide with a power-up, they erupt into a cat fight. It is harder to survive when your own weapon is trying to kill you. But such is the nature of the game, you just kind of relax and enjoy the spectacle you're causing. Vampire Survivors has to be the first game I've ever played where I don't care whether I win or lose. Most games you're trying to hit the end point. Here, you're just playing to unlock stuff. Sometimes that means getting to the end of a run, but most often it doesn't. Hitting the milestones in the menus is enough. Which means that despite what all the videos, including this one, may lead you to believe, it's actually a very chill game. With minimal controls, no real victory to pursue, and tens of enemies to slaughter per second. It's the game you put on when everything else has chosen that day to kick your ass. Also, it's only £4. £4 for this? It's not hard to see why it's popular. It really does look like it's utter bloody mayhem on screen, and it just feels so tranquil to play. It is the damnedest thing. All you do is you move around on screen, try not to crash into too many enemies, and occasionally make a selection of something, and that's it. It's so minimalist, it is ridiculous, and yet it is ridiculously hard to stop playing. It is stupid popular is this game, and again, £4. £4 for this. Damn, if you haven't played it already, why not? Go out and get it. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about this now, because otherwise I'm not going to shut up. What did you think of my video? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of Vampire Survivors? Or is that a stupid question? Leave a comment down in the comment section below. That's what the comment section is there for. For those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, that's a separate thing. Or if you want to inflict me on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.